giant conglomeration of fire hazard and stupidity here. This is a 1,195,000 mile all original MBN C15. It's in here for a complete bare block rebuild. But right now I know everybody wants to see this greasy old piece of run, so here you go. Alright, it's a couple months later, and this is that same MBN that you were just looking at. Got the block and the crank back from the machine shop, and I've already put the crank in it. Right now I want to show you these liners. These are a brand new liner from IPD, and they've got a 10,000ths raised edge or a raised lip that goes all the way around the circumference of the liner. So what I'm doing right now is checking liner protrusion, and the reason I've got these copper washers in here is just to protect that raised lip on these liners. You wouldn't need those on a normal liner. But to explain the idea behind this lip, I'm sure a lot of you have seen these cylinder heads that they're calling O-ring cylinder heads, and what they're doing is machining a groove in the head around each cylinder, and then they're putting an insert into that groove. This is the same concept. This is just a cheaper and easier way to do it. Instead of putting that insert in the cylinder head, they're just machining the actual raised area right into the liner flange itself. So what it does, you've got your fire ring and the head gasket that's going to seat in here. And then this lip is going to surround that fire ring and keep it from being able to push and blow out. Well, I've been shut down for quite a while on this one waiting on parts, and I finally got my timing gears back from the machine shop, so they've got new bushings in them. And I've got quite a few other parts here, enough stuff to go a pretty good way. So this engine's the priority. I'm going to quit on that one for now, go back to work on this one and try to get it knocked out. Getting ready to clean the blue shit off this new cam, and then I'll stick it in the head. I've got the injectors ready to go in too. These are not IPD injectors. IPD doesn't offer injectors. These are done by another company. And this is what the 70-pin cam gear looks like, all disassembled. Alright, I've come a pretty good way since you saw it last. Got the cam in it. It's in time. Backlash is set on the adjustable idler. Flywheel's on. Brand new injector harness in it. Got one of IPD's new C15 Acert water pumps here. Looks like they're flow pressure and leak checking each one before they ship. Let me get this out of the box and I'll give you a better look at it. Yep, looks like an Acert water pump. These are 100% brand new and you'll be able to buy them a little bit cheaper than a Cat reman. And I guarantee you they're every bit as good. Here's what the impeller side looks like. Alright, I've got a coat of primer on it now, and it's had plenty of time to dry, so I'm getting ready to start with the top coat. It'll get a couple coats of top coat, and I'll be adding some pieces as I go along. Well, the paint turned out pretty good considering the guy who painted it. Got the correct serpentine bracket and AC bracket on for the application that we're going into. And using one of these one-piece steed speed manifolds. This is the first one of these that I've ever used. This is what the guy brought to me, so we'll try her out. I'm a little worried that it may try to break manifold studs off since it's one piece and it doesn't have any slip joints in it, but apparently it's made out of some kind of alloy that won't expand and contract, so I don't know. See what happens. Pretty much all that's left to do is mount the turbo. I've still got to put the top end stuff in it, so I'm getting ready to rebuild the Jake housings right now. Okay, I've got it all together. Got the overhead run, everything's adjusted up. So this will be the last look in here before I put the valve covers on. Seems like these Jake solenoids just never stop in the right spot. But as long as you get the wires connected, you get them clipped in and they're not rubbing anywhere, you're good to go. And you cannot hook those up backwards, by the way. It doesn't matter which way they go. Got 10 gallons of oil here I'm getting ready to dump in. And I'll put the valve covers on, hang the turbo, and it'll be a done deal. She done. Just plugged in here. I'm going to check on some of these sensors. They're not all brand new. We put a new cam and crank sensor in, and the rest of them are used, so I want to make sure they're all reading like they should. See here, boost pressure showing 0, oil pressure 0, coolant temperature 73, intake manifold air temp 72, and atmospheric is showing 15. That's all good, normal. Let's see, fuel temp, I think that's here. Fuel temp showing 73, so those are all matching each other. That's what we wanted to see. Everything looks good there. This active code should be a throttle position invalid. Yes, that's because we don't have a fuel pedal hooked to it yet. So now for the part that everybody wants to see. I've done this before and I already know the comments that I'm going to get, so I might as well address them right now. No, I'm not going to cook the liner O-rings. I'm not going to hurt anything at all by running this for a short period of time with no coolant in it. I've done this probably 30 times, and a lot of those engines I've torn down afterwards. Never seen anything that didn't look normal. The only concern with running a brand new engine with no coolant would be the seal in the water pump. It's kind of hard on those seals to run them dry. But there's enough lube in that water pump. I mean, it was just running out, so I'm not concerned about that. No longer than I'm going to run this. Probably no more than 30 seconds. It's not going to hurt a thing. Okay, I'm just getting it primed up here. You don't want to dry crank these engines any longer than you have to because it's hard on the injectors. So what I normally do is take an air nozzle and a rag, and I'll put a little pressure in my bucket. That'll help push fuel through the lines and up through the system. So I should have fuel here when I pump the hand primer. I'll probably fill that cup up one more time just to flush it out good and get as much of the air out as I can. Got all this garbage rigged up finally. I'm hoping that giant wad of junk batteries is going to be enough to get it going. It probably won't be, but I'll give it a shot. Got an oil pressure gauge rigged up here. It's actually a fuel pressure gauge out of a Pete cab, but it's going to be an oil pressure gauge right now. There's my Lone Wolf 6000 or whatever he calls it. I guess let's see if this piece of shit will start. Well, it's a runner. I was just watching up here to make sure I had oil getting to the top end, and as soon as I saw it, I shut it down. So I'm going to let it cool down for a few more minutes, and then I'll start it up one more time and give her a little. Well, there's nothing left to do to this. It's ready to go to work hauling some of those 93-mile-an-hour loads of meat around. So I guess back to this now. I was going to show you these washers I had made. Those little copper washers I had on here before were just a makeshift solution until I came up with something better. So I had the machine shop in town make me these big thick brass washers. With the regular liner, I've always just used steel washers and I've never had a problem with it. They won't even leave a mark on the liner as long as you don't over torque these bolts. But with these raised edge liners, you're going to need something softer. So I think IPD's talking about maybe sending some felt washers with these liners. I don't know yet what they're going to decide to do, but you're going to need some felt washers or something similar to these in order to keep from screwing that raised edge up. Alright, I've got liner protrusion checked out and it's all good to go, so I'm putting the liners in for good now. Okay, I've got all the liners in the block now. Got my piston pins, pistons, and rods all weighed up and got them matched together based on weight. So I'm putting rod piston assemblies together now. I've already got one in the engine, but here's the other 5 rods. So this is a 14.6 liter engine that I'm building right now. Uses a 2-bolt rod. This is the rod you'll find in every single 3406E that exists, even if it's a 15.8 liter. You'll also find this rod in the 14.6 liter C15 truck engine, so the 6NZs and MBNs. And you'll also find this rod in every single C16 that exists. So they made up for the difference in stroke in the 15.8 liter engines with the pin height in the piston, not the rod. But anyway, that's enough engine building for now. Bought this thing like a month and a half ago and it's still sitting out there on the trailer. So I'm gonna drag it in here and see if I can get it running. Well, she ain't pretty, but she was pretty cheap. I have no idea if it runs. The hillbilly I bought it off of told me it did, but that doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot. He probably wasn't lying though. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. He wanted to keep the flywheel for some reason. Luckily, I know where there's about 10 of them and they're only about 100 feet away. So I'll get to work here and we'll find out what we've got. Well, it's raining so hard, I'm pretty much gonna have to yell at this camera. But there's been some progress made. Got all the junk batteries moved down here. Got a flywheel on it. I put 1/3 of the bolts in, so it probably won't even fly off. Fuel lines are on. It's got the wrong fuel filter on it, so that should work just fine. Starter's on, battery cables are hooked up. Got all this nonsense rigged up. Oil pressure gauge is rigged up. It's got oil in it. It looks like it hadn't been changed in about 275,000 miles, but at least it's got some. And I'm just gonna have to hope that this oil filter doesn't spray oil everywhere. It's obviously seen better days. So I've got pretty much nothing on my side, but I think I'm ready to start cranking and see what's gonna happen. All right, here we go. Thing ain't got no oil pressure. Well, I swapped the oil filter out and I didn't find anything very scary inside of it, so I'm not totally sure yet. It's probably had some kind of internal failure, but I'm gonna give it one more try, and if I don't get some oil pressure pretty quick, I'm gonna shut it down and I'll have to abandon this operation. Nope. I almost gave up on this, and then I realized it wouldn't even be right if I didn't go ahead and thrash on this thing just a little bit anyway. It's a cat. We don't need oil pressure that bad. Well, that's all she's got. Maybe I'll show you what was wrong with it when I get it torn down. Or maybe I won't if I forget. Kinda sucks I couldn't thrash on it a little bit more, but that's the way she goes sometimes. I guess that's all I've got for this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.